Uh, Hi friends, in the previous session, we have covered the operators like comparison operator and logical operator along with switch statement and conditional statements as well. Today, one of the most important concepts, which is control statements. I'm just repeating whatever we have covered so far, like data types, int, float, double, string, any, bool. And we have covered type annotation, providing the data type, specifying the data type explicitly is known as type annotation, and type inference. The compiler itself identifies the data type of the value, data type of the identifier based on the value provided. And we have covered string interpolation. We have covered tuples. We have covered operators, let versus where. Someone asked you how to read the information from the console, right, from the user. That is also there. There is something called read line something. Let me try that. Where input is after integer equal to 0. Print statement, please enter a value. Read line is equivalent to scanf, which we have in C language. After reading the line, I'm just printing it into input. Yeah, let's run it. What is that? Yep. This is input, small I. Yeah, please enter a value, and it is not stopped here. See what is the read line and what it does. Read line, which gives you the string. Let input equal to, I'm not taking here, I'm just taking here, read line. Okay, I'll check that and let you know. Anyways, let versus where we have seen. What else we have seen? Operators. In operators, we're having 3 varieties, like unary. Under unary comes minus and negation, like invert operator, and assignment operator, and address of operator, and binary. Under binary, we have arithmetic operators, logical, compound operator, comparison. Under binary, these are the operators, and ternary, we have only question mark and colon, that is conditional operator. Under arithmetic, we have addition, subtraction, multiply, division, and modulus operators. Under logical operators, we are having combine the multiple conditions together. Logical and logical or even logical not is also one of the operators from the logical. And compound operator, plus equal to, minus equal to, star equal to, divided by equal to, percentage equal to, Comparison operator, we have comparison double equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. These are the various operators we are having, and conditional statements. Conditional statement we are having if else ladder or else if ladder, and switch. These are the various concepts which we have covered, and we saw what is the difference between double and float, what is type annotation, type inference, string interpolation, tuples, difference between let and where, tuples, how to declare tuples in multiple ways. There are 3 different ways to declare the tuple, and name tuple. Okay, let and where and questions on the operators. And the operators we are having the additional operators like range operator, which are newly for Swift, which are specifically for Swift. Range operator, Mills-Coulson operator. Mills-Coulson operator, range operator, type considering operator. Okay, these are the 3 various operators which we are explicitly, especially having in Swift programming language. Okay, coming to today's concept, control statement. There are 3 varieties of control statements, but one is for that is foreign, you can say, while, repeat, while. These are the 3 control statements. What is the purpose of control statements? To get the control over the execution. We have seen when there are 10 lines of code. When there are 10 lines of code, if you want to execute same lines of code multiple times, there is no way. We haven't seen any way. Okay, let's say I want to print hi. I have printed hi for 1 time. That is fine. I want to print hi for 3 times. So you can copy paste. I want to print hi for 10 times. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I want to print hi for 20 times. What we need to do? Same line of code. You need to copy paste so that it will be displayed 20 times. You can see it will be displayed 20 times. Okay. For 5 times it is okay, like you can write. Assume that the customer came tomorrow and asked me, the end user came tomorrow and asked me, I want to print the same hi for 100 times. Then what we need to do? Again, we need to come here. Need to print, copy paste for 5 times. It becomes 100 times. What is happening here? Same line of code we are writing again and again. If there is any change, if you want to, again, customer came one day and told I want only 2 times. Again, you need to remove all the things. If he wants to add n number of times, you need to again add them. Okay, what is happening here? Everything is duplicate. Same lines of code you're writing again and again, which is called a duplicate or a redundancy. To avoid the redundancy, to repeat something, okay, we can use for loop, for in loop actually. Okay, let me write the same thing. This is the syntax. If you do not know syntax, you can come here and search for it. For in, let's search for statement. Okay, this is the syntax for in something. Let me write for I in 1, 2, 3, 10. This is called a range operator. Yesterday we have seen range operator in switch case. Similarly, here there are a collection of values, 1 to 10 range of values. Each value will be given 1 time to I, and that will be printed here. Let me print I for 10 times. Let me show you what exactly the value of I here. Okay, for loop 1 to 10 is printed. This is called closed range. This is called closed range. When you are having three dots, it is closed range. When you have two dots and less than, it is half open range. See the difference between half open range and closed range. Okay, there is, I have given 5 here. 5 is not printed here. Only 4 times 1 to 4 is considered. When you give closed range, 5 is also considered. That is the difference between 3 dots and 2 dots less than. Okay, this is range operator. What it does, it gives you the range of values from 1 to 5. Each value, each 1 to from 1 to 5, each time one value given to the I, that is printed here. Now what we need, we want to print, let me put a letter, number of eyes. Number of eyes required is 5 right now. I'm giving 1 to number of eyes required. I'm printing it here. I'm just printing a value of I. Now instead of I, what I can put high, right? Instead of I can put high. So that how many number of times I need high, those many times it is printed. If customer comes and says, I want 100 times, you just need to modify the value here. We don't need to copy paste the line of code again and again. If he wants 1,000 times, you just need to put 10 instead of copy pasting 1,000 times. You just need to do like this. Now, what is the error here? What is the warning? This is called warning. Warning can be ignored, but make sure it is fixed if you can. Here, immutable value I was never used. I'm giving one value from this range. I'm giving one value each time to the I, but I is not used. Okay, either what it's saying, consider replacing with underscore or removing it. Okay, you can remove that where you simply you're storing the value in the I, but you're not using it. Instead of simply ignoring that, okay, use underscore. That is what it said. Okay, anyways, let us use the I. High my number also I'm printing 1,000. 1,000 times it is printed. Half open range, only 999 times that gets printed. Okay, what is the purpose of for loop? To repeat any lines of code to be executed multiple times. To repeat the execution of some block of code multiple times. To iterate through some block of code. This is a block of code. I am iterating through the block of code in the given number of times. Here 100 times. If you want to change it, 10 times. Clear? What is the purpose of for loop? To iterate some block of code, we use for loop. To iterate some block of code at given number of times. At given number of times, we use for loop. Similarly, we have while loop. While syntax of the while it takes some condition. It takes some condition we write, and block of statements. What it does, if the condition is true, then only goes inside. If the condition is true, then it goes inside. Okay. Before that, let us write some examples here. I want to display only integers. Sorry, only even numbers from the range 0 to 100. What we need to do, I want to pass, first I want to check whether the given value is even or not. Let where a value, I have some value. I want to check whether this is given, this is even number or odd number. How to identify whether the given value is even or odd? If a value, any value which is completely divisible by 2, That is called even, right? Print even. Okay. Let me comment this. I have a value. I want to check whether the given value is whether the a value is even or odd. How to identify the a value is even or odd? Any value which is completely divisible by 2, that is called even number, right? Here we are trying to divide 10 by 2. You get 5 times, quotient is 5 times, and 2 5s are 10, 2 5s 10, and the remaining is 0. It is completely divided. So it is even number. If you take 11, you get 1. If you take 13, you get 6 times 2 into 2 6 12, and remainder is 1. That is even number, odd number. When you get some remainder, it is odd number. When you get 0 as a remainder, it is even number. This is the general concept of even number, identifying the even number. Okay, here I have one value. We are able to identify whether it is even or odd. I am using operator, multiple operators here. Remainder operator I am using, and comparison operator also I am using. Conditional statement if I am using. Multiple things we are using here. It is even. Let's say 11. 11 is odd. Nothing will be printed. We do not have any else here. If you have else, odd will be printed. And 24, 34, which is even. And 34 is completely divisible by 2, which is even. Okay. Now we know how to find a value is even or not. Now I want to identify couple of values are even or odd. Couple of values means from 0 to 100. I want to identify whether the given value, how many values are like, what are the different values are even. Now to identify the one value is even or odd, we know. Now what we need to do, we need to identify the multiple values are even or odd for I in 0 to 100, right? I am passing one value each time to the loop. Just copy paste here. Instead of a value, we can take I, right? I means first time it is 0, second time it is 1, third time it is 2, fourth time it is 4, or else you can also give 1 to 100. Whatever value you want, from there you can give. Or if you want to find between 10 to 100, you can give the 10 here. Starting value is need not to be 0 or 1. Okay. This is even. Then I can also put I is even. 10 to 100, I am identifying. 10 is even. 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. These are the even numbers, right? This is how we use for loops, for in loop. If you want to identify, if you want to repeat some block of code repetitively, you can go for loop. Okay, I want to identify number of even numbers between 1 to 1000, where number of events equal to 0. I do not have any events now. I am identifying for I in 1, 1, 2, 3, 1000. If I percentile 2 equal to 0, what we can do? We can increase this, right? Okay, plus equal to 1. What is this meaning? Compound operator, compound assignment operator. This is equal to number of events equal to number of events plus 1, right? Okay, what we are doing, we are assigning one value each time. We are taking the existing value and assigning 1, and again keeping it into the number of events value. Finally, after execution of everything, total number of events between 1 to 1000 is number of events. Total number of events between 1 to 1000 is 500 times. 500 even numbers are there between 1 to 1000, which is correct, right? I want to perform sum of 50, 1 to 10. I want to prepare sum of 1 to 10. How to do it generally? We can do let sum equal to 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10. This is what we need to perform. This is what we need to perform. We get to 55 here. Okay. This is not the correct way. Today it is 1 to 10. Tomorrow it is between 1 to 100. Sum of 1 to 100 values. So let us write the same thing. I'm giving 0 here. By default, there is no sum. For I in 1 to 100. I'm passing 100 values here. I'm assigning that sum equal to sum plus I. Simple. What we are doing, we have some value here. First we get 1. We're calculating 0, the existing sum, and the existing sum and new value. New value is 0 here. Sorry, 1 for the first time. So it becomes 1. Next time 2 comes into the I. We are doing 1 plus 2, which is 3. 3 we are putting in sum. Next 3 value comes into the comes inside. Already sum is 3. 3 plus 3, which is 6, will be kept. I can also print here. Print to sum. Okay, you can see print total is sum. It is 50-50 is the sum between 1 to 100, 1 to 10, which is 55. Okay, you can see the value here. First time it is 1, second time it is 3, third time it is 6, 6 plus 4, 10, 10 plus 5, 15, 15 plus 6. Each time one value we are getting inside, we are adding that to the existing sum. Okay, any more questions here? How do you, for in loop is very important. Even if conditional statements are very important, we regularly use them. Okay, you need to understand the logic behind the for in loop. Okay, each time one value we get here inside. Okay, now I want to print some table. I'm just giving you multiple examples to make you understand better. For I want to print 2 table. Now let table equal to for I in 1 to 10. Okay, I want to display 10 table, 2 table. How to display 2 table? 2 into 1 equal to 2, 2 into 2 equal to 4, and so on. 2 into 10 equal to 20. Only what value is changing here? Only this value is changing and this value is changing. Okay, the into the x mark and equal to mark is constant, and even the given number 2 is also constant. Okay, let me put constant. What is the constant here? The table is constant. 2 into again number, right? This is changing 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on 10. Where we're getting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 from I, we're getting equal to is constant again. This is string interpolation we need to use. Here value. What is the value here? 2 into 1, 2 into 2, 2 into 10, right? We're having string interpolation again. Table into I. Into means star, multiply. That's it. 2 table is ready. Whatever constant, you just keep it. Whatever value we need to replace, just embed them and perform the operation whatever you want. 2 table is ready. 2 into 1, 2, 2 into 2, 4, 2 into 3. See here, x is constant. So x is always constant here. So I kept it in the string. It is not interpolated. It is simply string. The equal is also interpolated. Not interpolated, it is string. Values are interpolated. String interpolation. Values are embedded. Here, table value I want to print. So I kept a table here. Here I want to print number of times. I kept I is changing, right, from 1 to 10 and multiplying that and giving the value. All these are multiplied values. So multiplied and given. Similarly, there is something called while loop. Hope for loop is very clear. How to use for loop and why do we use for loop, when to use for loop. Now, while let's say I'm having where I equal to 10, while I less than or equal to 10. I'm putting some condition and printing the value of I, and I'm incrementing the value I plus equal to 1. What I'm trying to do here is I have some value here I have some condition here I less than or equal to 10. Until this condition is true, this block of statements will be executed. If the condition is false, this block of statements will not be executed. That's it. We have some condition here. This is called repetitive condition. We have kept a if condition, right? It only checks one time, but here it checks multiple times. Repetitively, it checks the condition until it is false. If it is true, it executes the block of statements and again checks the condition. If it is false, it will not execute the block of statements and executes the rest of the statements. If the condition is true, then only it evaluates it executes the block of code. Okay, here I equal to 0, I less than or equal to 10. It is true and it gets printed and I'm incrementing the value. If you do not increment the value, what happens? It goes to the infinite loop. Again, you need to kill the X code. Remember. Okay. If you do not put this statement, always I is 0. I is 0 is always less than or equal to 10. Always the condition is true. So it goes to the infinite loop. Okay. 0, 1 to 10. 1 to 10 is printed. If you ignore only, if you just keep less than, means 1 to 9. 1 to 9 will be printed. Okay. Once it becomes 10 less than 10, which is false. 10 equal to 10, right? Which is false. Whenever you put simply less than 10 is false. So it came out. If you put equal to 10, less than or equal to 10 also considered. Okay. What happens every time every time it checks the condition and prints the value. This is while. There is something called a repeat while also. Repeat. Same line of code you can write. Same kind of condition. I'm just resetting the value of I equal to 0. Here. This is while. Same condition. Basically, in the repeat while, the condition comes at the end, whereas in while, the condition comes at the top. Okay, here let me print the same thing. Okay, just comment this. Same result we get actually. But there is a difference. In interviews, they will ask you what is the difference between for loop and while loop, and while loop and repeat while loop. Okay, let me run where I. The result is same 0 to 10. Okay, let me put the value is 100. 100 is actually false, right? The condition is false. 100 is less than or equal to 10, which is false. And see, do we get anything on the output? It is printed 100. Why it is printed? Here we have. Though the condition is false, the repeat while executes the block of statements at least once. At least once, the block of statements will be executed in case of repeat while. Clear? That is the difference between while and repeat while. Repeat while, condition does not check at very first time. First executes, then checks the condition. Whereas while loop, first checks, then executes. In repeat while, at least the block of statements will be executed once. Remember, that is the difference between while and repeat while. While loop is known as entry control loop. At the starting itself, it controls it based on the condition. Repeat while is exit control loop. Exit control loop. At the exit, you have condition. At least one time, the block of statements will be executed. Clear? Now, this is also repeating. This is also repeating. Even for loop also iterating. Basically, all they are iterating. Then what is the difference between for and while? We know the difference between while and repeat while. Repeat while, at least the block of statements will be executed once. While first checks the condition and executes the block of statements. Whereas for it is iterating through number of times. Here it is for iteration. This is also for iteration. Then what is the difference between for and while is the important. In case of for, you iterate the condition it given number of times. You iterate the block of statements at given number of times. Here it is a specified number of times. Whereas while is unspecified. In between here, there is a chance of changing value. If I put directly, if I put 5 value, if I add 4 here or 3 here, see what happens. Only executed for one time. We put 1 also. In between, in the block of statement, if something happens to the I, if something happens to the I, the results are changed, the number of times are changed. Whereas in for loop, once you define 100, that will be iterated for 100 times. The block of statements will be iterated for 100 times. Here, while is unspecified. Whenever you are not sure that how many number of times to be repeated, how many number of times to be executed, go for while. If you know how many number of times the block of statement should be executed, then go for while. Sorry, go for is specified number of times, whereas while is unspecified number of times. Okay, these three are very, very important. Any doubts? For loop, while loop, and repeat while.
Sir, I have doubts.